What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to yet another video. So in today's video, I want to show you guys how I trade around key levels using Bookmap. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos on Bookmap, I am going to do a quick little rundown on what I like to look for. But real quick, as always, if you guys do find value in this video, make sure to smash that like button as well as clicking that subscribe and that bell icon. It would mean the absolute world to me. But without further ado, let's hop into the video. Giving a quick little rundown on what Bookmap is. Take your level 2 and put it on steroids and you pretty much have Bookmap. So with this, you can visually see where the buyers and sellers are in the market. Are there a lot of buyers? Are there a lot of sellers? Are these buyers aggressive? Are these sellers aggressive? And I'm going to be breaking this down and showing it to you guys how to understand what you see on this screen right here. So looking at this screen right here, if we look right on over here, we had this red line going through at around 39.85 on the ES futures. What this is telling us is that there is a lot of passive buyers at this area. Passive buyers being people that have limit orders in the market waiting to get filled. So we can visually see that on Bookmap. Looking down here at 39.82, what do we see? This solid red line. These are passive buyers. Look at how many buyers are at this area waiting for their orders to get filled. Now, later in this video, we're going to talk about why this area has been very important, but just know that there is a Fibonacci level on ES at this same exact spot that we are trading at, which you can see that is right here, and we are currently holding this area. But again, we're going to come back to that. So looking at Bookmap, this is how you can tell the amount of buyers and sellers just based on the color code. If it's like this dark blue, there's not really too many buyers or sellers sitting at that area. As we start getting towards, this lighter blue, whitish color, there's more buyers or sellers in that area. Yellow, we're getting more buyers or sellers. Orange, even more buyers or sellers. And then dark red and even light red, those are the highest amount of buy and sell orders sitting in the market. Now, again, what you need to remember about these color codes is that these are passive buyers or sellers. These are orders that are waiting to be filled in the market. So these are people saying, I am not buying unless ES comes down to 39.83. Those are your passive buyers. Or we're not selling until price comes up to, let's find a good area, like around 39.88. We're not selling till we get up there. So that's how you can tell, okay, is there buyers in this area or is there sellers in this area? So right now you can see that ES is just sitting around this buy zone, and we need aggressive sellers to push it below if it's going to continue to go lower. Now, at the same time, you can also see right here that these buyers, it went from yellow to light blue, and then yellow went here. What is this telling us? This is telling us that they moved their orders up in a 39.84, and you can see we're beginning to get that orange. So that is how you tell the amount of passive buyers or sellers in the market. At the same time, you can look at these circles. These circles are the aggressive buyers or the aggressive sellers. So if we come down into a zone and we get a large red circle, this is telling us that aggressive sellers are hitting the bid and they are trying to drive price lower. So right now you can see as we are trading at this area, we are getting aggressive sellers. They're not huge aggressive sellers. The larger the circle becomes, the more aggressive they are being. So if we got a very large red circle and we started breaking through these support zones or buy zones, more than likely we are going to go lower in price. Or if we start coming down into an area. Now, again, the key is they need to break it. Now, if we're getting a big green circle at a specific area, whether it be through the technicals at Fibs or supply and demand, if we're getting a big green circle, this is letting us know that now we have passive orders being filled and aggressive buyers coming into the market to try to drive price higher. So looking at this right now, we can see that this 39.83, those orders were getting filled. However, there are more coming into the market. So the aggressive sellers were not able to push below these passive buyers. And as you can see, we are now having aggressive buyers coming in and trying to push price back up. So that's how you differentiate the circles. Again, the larger the circle, the more aggressive the buyers or sellers are becoming. And I want to see how we are acting when we are at key areas on Bookmap. So now how I trade around these key areas is we could even go back on over to, let's just say, this ES example. Let's look at this 50% retracement that I had earlier. As you can see, we made a nice little bounce off of this area. But what I'm going to be looking for on Bookmap when we actually start coming down towards key areas or up to key areas, if we're coming down to a key area, obviously we want to see passive buyers. So we want to see that there are orders sitting at that area waiting to be filled, or we can look to see if there's aggressive buyers that come in at the same time. That's going to help give me that double confirmation that there are buyers down at this area and that we have the risk to reward on our side. Now, you can do this with fibs, or you can do it with supply and demand, like I said. So now if we head on over to an example of a demand zone that was actually on NQ, if we head on over to ThinkorSwim, you can see that we had this demand zone right here. I believe it was a 30-minute demand zone. You can see that we ended up tanking right down into the level, and then we started holding it as support 1, 2, 3, 4 times, came down, set a higher low, and then pushed back up in price, which could have offered you a profitable trade. So now that we know where this demand zone is, we can use Bookmap to get a better understanding if buyers are down at the area. Looking at the 1 minute candle, you can see that this is when the buyers ended up coming in at 10:11 a.m. If we head on over to Bookmap, we can see as we started coming down into this zone, first off, we already knew that there were buyers down here, judging by the color down here. Again, these are passive buyers waiting for their orders to get filled. So as we start coming down into this area, we eventually end up catching these buyers right down here. So again, here are our passive buyers down in demand. We catch the buyers right here. We catch the buyers right here. Price comes a little lower and then catches the buyers right here, never filling these buyers. So looking at this, knowing that this level was demand on NQ and seeing these buy orders right here, you can visually see that there are buyers waiting to get into the market. Now, the aggressive sellers tried to drive price down and they could not. The buyers pushed price back up. These aggressive sellers had to cover their position. And as a result, we saw a nice push up in NQ until eventually it got up into this resistance zone right here. Again, we can visually see the amount of sellers up in this entire zone right here. So it came up to test it over here, came to test it over here. And then as we can see, price started pulling back on the NASDAQ. Again, you can trade QQQ based off of these levels. And now a really good example of aggressive buyers pushing price through where those passive sellers are. As you can see, we had this solid orange and red line right here letting us know there were sellers. Look at the aggressive buyers. Look at the volume on this bubble right here. As a result, we saw a nice push to the upside. So again, to recap everything on what I use Bookmap for, is I use it to trade around key areas and key areas only. I'm not looking at this thing all throughout the day. I'm only looking at it once we start getting towards our key areas that we want to know about. This gives me an understanding, are there actually buyers or sellers in this area? And again, I have found Bookmap to be much more effective when using it in combination of fibs and supply and demand, because you can visually see the buyers or sellers in the market. Yeah, that's going to wrap up this video on Bookmap. If you guys do want more videos on Bookmap in the future, I need you guys to like the video, comment down below. It's definitely something that I do want to do more videos on. Yes, this is a little more advanced, but I do think it's going to help a lot of traders. So let me know if you guys do want to check out Bookmap. There will be a link down in the description. Other than that, everybody have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.